It is spring of 2023, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about the Clarksville real estate market and tips to make the home buying process easier for you. So stay tuned. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Carla here with Benchmark Realty, your local realtor in Clarksville, Tennessee. And I thought it was time to make a new video now that it's 2023 about the Clarksville housing market, what's going on with it, what you can expect to see, and tips to the home buying process that hopefully will make things easier for you if you decide to buy a house in our area. All right, so first things first, I want to talk about the Clarksville, Montgomery County, Tennessee area. We are very much a unique housing market because we're a military community, so we have that a little bit of insulation from the rest of the country and different communities around us because we have that constant fluctuation of people selling and buying with our military community. So our housing market is going to look very different than, say, Nashville or other states or other regions of the United States. That being said, things have slowed down here in the Clarksville area the past 6 months to a year with the higher interest rates that we've seen relative to being in the 2 and 3% interest rates. We're now in the 6 to 7% interest rates. That being said, I can say, it's not all the doom and gloom like we see all over the news. Things have been sitting longer, and there have been price reductions in the past few months through winter. But now that spring's here, things are starting to heat right back up due to low inventory and high demand, basic economics. So we have still buyers who are looking to buy despite the interest rates being higher. And we only have about 800 homes on the market for sale as of the middle of April of 2023. And that is very, very low. Existing and new construction combined for the entire county for sale. Ideally, we would like to be around 1,500 to 2,000 homes for sale on the market in a more balanced market. But right now we're still hovering around 800 homes total for sale, which is very low, creating this low inventory, high demand. So we're starting to see anything that's in the 300,000 or below mark, even if it's in decent condition, many of them are going with multiple offers. We're starting to see that again. So while my buyers earlier in the year and into winter of 2022 and into the beginning of 2023, when the market was a little bit slower, many of my buyers were getting their closing costs covered from sellers and some other concessions covered by sellers. But now that the market is heating back up again, we're starting to see the multiple offers again. A lot of my buyers are not even asking for sellers to cover their closing costs and minimal concessions and going in with a really strong, clean offer in hopes that their offer will be accepted. And if you're enjoying this content so far, I would really appreciate it if you hit that like button or subscribe to my channel. It really helped me out. Thanks, guys. All right, first things first, of course, I'm going to recommend that you get yourself connected to a high-speed realtor that is used to working with buyers in your area, is familiar with the process, the strategies, and that maybe didn't just get their license yesterday. But it's really important because this agent that you're connected with, they will make sure that you're being taken care of. They'll explain the home buying process. They'll explain all the disclosures, all the paperwork, and there is a lot of paperwork, you guys. So your agent can help explain that, walk you through the whole entire home buying process, make sure you're getting all the inspections that you need, and make sure you're linked up with everything that you need to make your offer stand out and get your offer accepted and get you to the closing table. We also have access to things like the multiple listing service that can show you the most updated information on homes in the area and even coming soon properties that maybe you can't see on other websites. And we can also link you up with local lenders in the area. And the good news is if you are buying a home, you don't pay anything to have a buyer agent represent you throughout the transaction. How buyer agents are compensated is when the deal closes, you're compensated via a commission from the listing brokerage or the listing agent and the listing brokerage. So the good news is you don't have to pay anything to be represented. So there's really no reason why you shouldn't have your own agent representing you throughout the transaction. All right, point number 2. Of course, I would recommend you be pre-approved with a strong, reputable lender in the area. Pre-qualified it's okay, but in order to show houses, at least with me, it will not show houses to buyers unless they are actually pre-approved, which means a lender has actually checked and that verified your information. They have checked your LES or your pay stub. They have run your credit. They have verified your debts, your bank accounts, your cash on hand, all of that fun stuff, and made sure you're good to go to put an offer in a house and deem you pre-approved for a home mortgage. Honestly, a waste of everyone's time, a waste of your time, a waste of my time, a waste for the seller's time to get everyone out of their house for showings, their kids, their dogs, clean the house, all that, unless they know that the buyer is in a position and well qualified to buy their home. So that's why I don't even bother showing homes to my buyers unless they have a solid pre-approval letter. The average home price in Clarksville right now is between $300,000 and $315,000. So, and like I said, anything below that point, that price point, it can be really tough because anything that's halfway decent, like I said earlier, is going to get scooped up most likely within a few days with multiple offers realistically. So it's really important that you have all your ducks in a row. You have your pre-approval already taken care of. So when you find that house, you are ready to go and put in your offer. All right, next tip number 3, I recommend that you come to the area and research the neighborhoods and the locations that you do want to be in and places that you don't want to be in. The last thing I want you to do is buy a house without seeing it and you love the house and then you get here and you look around and you're like, what the heck did I just buy? And you have buyer's remorse. That's the last thing I want. So if possible, I always recommend that you come to the area, do a recon, check things out, see where you want to be, see the neighborhoods you don't want to be at, so we can help narrow that area down. If you want to see more of what Clarksville neighborhoods look like, I recommend that you also check out my neighborhood tours playlist on my channel, and that will give you a better idea of what the names of the communities are here and the neighborhoods and what the neighborhoods look like in our area. Next on my list is properly budgeting for your home. Now, a lot of people think, oh, I have my home mortgage and I'm comfortable with my monthly payments and I'm good to go. But home ownership and the home buying process is much more than that. So on top of having your mortgage pre-approval, you also want to take in consideration your closing costs. If you're not going to be asking the sellers to cover that and you're going to be paying your closing costs yourself, you want to calculate around 3% of the purchase price, which would, on a $300,000 home for title and closing costs, be around $9,000. That would be in addition to a down payment if you're wanting to put a down payment down. If you're a VA, it's not necessary to put a down payment down, but you still need to be able to be in a position to pay your closing costs if you're not going to ask for that, for the seller to cover that. In addition to that, you have to make sure you have enough funds for all your inspections. During your inspection period, when you're under contract, you have to have, like I said, your closing costs. You have to have moving expenses, costs for utility transfers to get your electric, your water, everything transferred over, your gas, natural gas, home warranty. If you want to buy a home warranty, that's several $100s. Those are all things you want to calculate for, if you get any additional inspections done on top of your regular inspections done, if you get like a radon inspection, a septic inspection, a mold inspection, anything like that, that's all gonna add up. Oh, and let's not forget about repairs either. And in addition to everything I just mentioned, you want to make sure and have enough funds for repairs. Should the seller not agree to do all the repairs that were requested, you want to have enough money to do those after closing, should you choose to do that. I know when things were crazier and the rates were in the 2 and 3% and the multiple offers were insane, some people were just, waiving their home inspection to make their offers stronger so the seller would accept it. But I didn't recommend that at the time, and I definitely don't recommend that now. I always recommend that you have your home inspection done. And if you want to make your offer stand out and make it a little bit stronger, you can always put that you won't ask the seller for repairs, but you reserve the right to have your home inspection and terminate contract legally if you find something crazy that really scares you or worries you in the home. You reserve that right to legally terminate. So yeah, always get your home inspection done. Next on my list is shopping home insurance rates. So as part of getting your mortgage, part of that process is getting your homeowner's insurance quotes. I recommend that buyers get several quotes and shop around and see where you're getting the best estimate from, your best quote for homeowners insurance. And especially in Tennessee, you want to make sure that your homeowners insurance does include sinkhole coverage, because we're in a state full of sinkholes in Tennessee. So I always recommend that you have that part of your policy, or it's not automatically in your policy. Make sure you have an addendum that includes sinkhole coverage in Tennessee. I always recommend that. Another thing you want to consider in the home buying process is really be honest with yourself. A lot of agents won't talk about this because they're going to want to encourage you to buy a house. But I encourage my clients to really think for themselves and see what is going to be best for their particular situation. If you're going to come here and it'd be moving potentially in a year or two, and you don't really have enough time in the market to gain equity because you're going to be moving in 1 or 2 years, then maybe it's not the best time for you to buy, because you don't have enough equity built up. And then after paying realtor costs and everything like that, maybe it doesn't make sense for you to buy. If you're going to be here for 3 to 5 years and you have time in the market to build equity, then maybe it does make sense. Or maybe things are just super tight right now financially, and you just don't want to risk having to, pay all the closing costs and then have to pay for maintaining the house and repairs and everything that comes with home ownership. If things are really tight for you financially, then maybe you just take a minute, take a breath, and rent for a little while, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I always recommend that my clients take a step back and really evaluate their personal situation and make the best decision for them and their family. Another major tip that I want to tell you guys, that I reiterate with my buyers all the time, is not take out any additional debt when you're under contract, or open any new lines of credit. Like, don't open a new credit card, go furniture shopping, buy a new car, buy a boat, deposit large amounts of cash out of nowhere into your bank account, because now your loan officer has to figure out where did that money come from. So definitely some things to be cautious of. Your lender will always tell you these things too, but I always like to reiterate, don't quit your job. Do not quit your job before closing. If you have you're changing jobs, just wait until after you're closed, because your loan officer will be doing a VOE, or a verification of employment, throughout the transaction to make sure that your employer says, yes, this individual works here and they make this amount of money. And a lot of times they'll do another one right before closing. And if you suddenly no longer work at that job, that could throw another huge wrench into the equation and cost you the house, because suddenly maybe you're no longer going to be pre-approved for that mortgage. And if you have any questions about what you can and can't do, I always tell people verify with your loan officer, because they will definitely tell you, yeah, that's no big deal, or no, definitely do not do that right now, please. So that's a biggie. Or maybe your credit is not the best right now and you need some time to recover and have your credit recover a little bit to get a better interest rate. Maybe wait 6 months to a year to where you can get your credit to where it needs to be, so that your monthly payment will be lower, because you'll be getting a better interest rate based on your better credit. And last but certainly not least is having realistic expectations on your home buying process and being reasonable. You're not going to have everything that you ever wanted on a house, and it's just not realistic to expect that. It's not realistic to expect that, to put a lot of demands on the seller, or that the seller will do every single thing that you want them to do, or do every single repair that maybe you'd like them to do. That's why I always like to have buyers consultations with my clients before we start the home buying process, just to make sure we have all questions answered. We go through an overview of the home buying process, and I can set out realistic expectations on what to expect in the process, what you'll typically see, what's common, what's not common, and set realistic expectations on the front end. And yes, this process can be pretty emotional for a lot of people, especially if you're someone that gets stressed out easily, and you can find yourself being stressed out at times, fatigued, frustrated, especially if you're not getting necessarily the outcome that you'd like from the other side. But that's what we're here for, to help you through the home buying process, answer your questions, reassure you, hold your hand, so to speak, and just to be there for your support and get you to the closing table. All right, you guys, that is it for this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a like or subscribe to my channel, or go check out my other videos on my channel to learn more about what Clarksville has to offer. And I have also a lot of neighborhood tours on my channel as well that you can check out to see what the neighborhoods look like in our area. But as always, if you're interested in buying, selling, or investing in the Clarksville, Montgomery County, Tennessee area, feel free to reach out to me, contact me, and we can have a consultation and see if it makes sense to work together. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys. Co-signing on it. My next tip is, wanted to get into what's going on. Hey everyone, it's Clark.